I'm your host.
Again, because it's not recording.
Good afternoon. Welcome to Cooking with Coach Coates. I'm your host, Coach Coates. How you guys doing today? We're going to begin with our introduction video, and then we're going to get right to it. Here we go.
This is Cooking and Eating Clean with Coach. I'm the host of this video blog that chronicles a most exciting part of my personal journey. Through the lens of this endeavor, we will cook and eat clean, appetizing, delicious, colorful meals that highlight the reclamation of my health and happiness. At 57 years young, I am healthier than I was 30 years ago. Anyone who knows me will tell you that I live and love to teach, mentor, and coach individuals to compete. I decided to focus that same passion and energy on me by making personal and permanent lifestyle changes that illuminated my path to living in peace, balance, and health. I've lost over 170 pounds in a little over 10 months, and I have better mental clarity and energy than ever. Most important, I get the best of sleep of my adult life. And only 10 months ago, I had sleep apnea and was always tired. Food choices extend and save lives. The type and quality of food you purchase, prepare, and consume have a direct impact on the way you feel and overall health. A wise man once said, life is like a marathon, not a 100-meter dash. Now, I'm not a track guy, but I know enough about marathon and performance, understanding the basics of race strategy. Decisions made at each juncture of the 26.2-mile race have a huge impact on the outcome. I know and feel my life's marathon is barely half over. I've accidentally or on purpose discovered a way to nutritionally repair my body, and I'm healing for clarity and longevity daily through meditation, proper nutrition, and appropriate exercise. This was not always the case. Only 1 year ago, I found myself in the most unhealthy place in mind and body. Truly, my life light was dim, at best, and beginning to flicker. I had allowed myself to gain more than 200 pounds, of course, over a period of time, but yes, 200 pounds since graduating college. A year ago, I had just gone to the doctor voluntarily, I might add, but it gets scary when you have chest pains from walking from your office to the parking lot about 400 yards away. I was seen in the ER immediately, and they completed a battery of tests and came up with the following conclusions. At that time, I had high blood pressure, diabetes, sleep apnea, and numerous symptoms of congestive heart failure. I saw my primary care physician next. He explained to me, as he looked at me like most do, and shook his head and said, I now have the option to apply for disability because I was morbidly obese, and my weight gain was having a detrimental impact on the quality of my life. I just ignored the doctors and their recommendations and did my body no favors by eating everything I thought or could convince myself was nutritious. I was also taking doctor-prescribed medications, high blood pressure medications, diuretics, a pill for diabetes, and 3 painkillers a day to keep the pain at bay from the numerous athletic injuries and subsequent weight gain that resulted in chronic and severe arthritis in my knees, shoulders, hips, and back. There was not a time when I was not in pain. The medicine just took the edge off. Then, my world was turned upside down when I was involved in a serious car accident in 2019. I was poked and prodded and diagnosed with 3 herniated discs. I was in severe pain and could not walk to my car, let alone work, for over 3 weeks. I was seen by an orthopedic surgeon who recommended immediate surgery. As a child of a career military man, I was trained to listen to the doctors, but in my mind, I knew that there was another way. I decided to contact a chiropractor I knew who had invited me to his wellness center numerous times, as I was blessed with the opportunity to coach both of his sons in my capacity as a high school football and wrestling coach. Dr. Kenneth Cooper, president of Cooperstown Wellness Center, changed my life. First, I got relief from the almost unbearable pain I felt since the accident from the 3 herniated discs. The best part of that is I stopped taking pain medication altogether once we began to work. Dr. Cooper also introduced me to a book called The Longevity Diet by Valter Longo. It was at this point I realized that I did not have to be put out to pasture. I could detox, cleanse, and heal my body from the inside out through fasting, clean eating, and meditation. I began my detox immediately. Next, I completed 3 5-day water-only fasts, approximately 1 month apart, to bring my mind, body, and spirit back into balance and alignment. Finally, the strangest part of this experience was that I lost my taste for meat. Dr. Cooper prepared me for the distinct possibility that my taste buds could change quite dramatically after detoxing. 1 week after beginning, I voluntarily eliminated meat from my diet because I no longer craved it. It is difficult to explain, but I feel in tune with my body now as far as what I should or should not eat. I personally eat as clean as possible and by no means anything chemical or byproducts. I genuinely enjoy the diversity of tastes and colors and the wide variety of vegetables I consume. I enjoy the artistry of cooking with the utilization of colors and combinations of tastes to make the perfect, nutritious meals. It's now been 10 months and I've lost over 170 pounds. I have destroyed my initial goals, losing 120 pounds, and as of this week have set a new goal to lose a total of 200 pounds by October the 9th. To reach this goal, I must weigh 225 pounds, and it will be approximately 1 year since I started. How will I do that? Easy. Staying hydrated, eating timely and clean, exercising regularly, and meditating. I've been taking vitamins and nutrients prescribed by my chiropractor and nutritionist. But the most amazing result of this journey is my newfound passion for cooking colorful, delicious, nutritious meal. Cooking and eating with healthy with Coach Coates. Here we go.
All right. To begin with, thank you very much for joining us. I'd like to let you know, thank you for those of you who sent pictures of the dishes that you made with us last week. As of next week, what we're going to do is we're going to include some of those pictures in there so that you other people can see, okay? But we actually have those. So let's take a look at a few of those. Denisha, this is Denisha's dish. Denisha, are you here? All right. There's your dish.
I am here.
Great. Tell us about it. How was it?
It was, well, okay. My computer, my phone might drop right now, but I just want to say it was delicious. I did not think I would like greens on my nachos and was a little hesitant to do it, but I've made it twice last week, and both times I included the greens, which made me eat less cheese. So loved it. Thank you.
Yeah. That's great. All right. I love it. That's great. And is anyone else? This is Akiana's recipe also. She's not here, but we want to present that also. All right, let's get started. As we begin, like I said, I love the interaction between us. If you've got your frozen fish right now, you may want to put that in some water. What I like to do, a little hack that I learned, is I'll put that in a bowl, put that in cold water. You switch the water out every 3 or 4 minutes or so. And by the time we get to using that, it will be thawed, okay? Now, today, we are doing healthy fish and chips, okay? What person in their right mind doesn't like healthy fish and chips? Now, I remember as a kid thinking healthy fish and chips is McDonald's, French fries, and a fish sandwich, you know? That was until I made the national team and went to Holland. And traveling over in Holland, oh my gosh, it was just amazing. But the most amazing part of that trip is the fish and chips. I can just close my eyes and think about the smell of that delicious fish and those chips. It was just absolutely amazing. You know, like I said, the trip was amazing with the sprawling green meadows and the windmills and everything else. But the biggest part was the fish and chips, okay? So what we're going to do today is we're going to show you how to make fish and chips, okay? But the amazing part of the fish and chips is you're going to use half the grease, okay? You're going to have none of the impurities because we're using olive oil, okay? And it's going to taste, I think it tastes just as good, okay? You get the crispy, crunchy taste, but that remains to be seen. So with this deal, we're going to start with asparagus and sweet potatoes, and then we were going to end up with our fish. Now, if you remember your cooking list, we've got that listed on the board there. So as you can see, we're going to use an air fryer, okay? And we've got our 10 ingredients. We try to keep it to 10 ingredients because too much to me is just, it gets confusing. One of the caveats that I'm going to say is I use Old Bay seasoning, and Old Bay has a little bit of salt in it, okay? But what I'm doing is I'm developing my cooking as I go. So I'm going to replace Old Bay with the actual seasoning in it, but I kind of don't want to mess with the miracle until I get to that point. All right. So again, we're going to move to asparagus, and again, we're going to use orange roughy, asparagus, and sweet potato fries. Okay. Why do I use these certain things? I like to cook with certain vegetables because of the vitamin and mineral content. Okay. Asparagus is an excellent source of essential vitamins, including folate, vitamin A, vitamin C, and vitamin K. Okay, all that made in the air fryer, believe it or not. Sweet potatoes are next. I prefer the purple sweet potatoes. If you can find purple sweet potatoes, they are absolutely amazing. Okay, now what's different between a purple sweet potato? Well, first of all, let me go over what is a purple sweet potato. It contains antioxidants that are good for your heart, digestion, cognitive functions, liver health. Because so many benefits from that, it's also good for diabetes. This type is stacked with phytochemicals, which are shown to have promising effects of anti-cancer properties, okay? Now, let's begin with our cooking. I begin by preparing my cooking space, okay? In that space, as you see on the list, we've got our orange roughy, we've got our sweet potatoes, we've got our asparagus, okay? We've got our mix. We've got our rice flour. Now, I understand that some people were having trouble finding the rice flour, but there's also a product made by Panko, and I'm going to show that right here, that contains, this one doesn't contain it, but you will see this box, and it has rice flour in it. That's even better, okay? And then sesame seeds. Now, one thing about sesame seeds, a lot of people don't understand why I use sesame seeds. And this is a brand that I use. These are toasted, okay? But what I do with these is you crack these open, and I found this out in another hack on YouTube. You crack these open, and the aroma, the aromatics from that bind to the fish and make it even better, and it's an even tastier brand of it, okay? And then on this one, we're going to use a little bit of rice flour, okay? And a little bit of tempura batter, all right? There we go. So, as I said, I'm preparing my cooking space, okay? Now, one important thing. We want to use 3 different cutting boards, okay? One for meat, one for vegetables, and one for fruit. Why? Because we don't want to cross-contaminate. You don't want, your fish juice all over everything else, okay? And the same thing with your vegetables. You want to keep everything separate as you can, okay? Now, next, we're going to move to preparing our asparagus. I've got my plastic bag. You can use a gallon-sized bag. I love these, okay? Now, each one, we're going to use one for sweet potatoes, one for asparagus, and the one for orange roughy. That also helps me to keep from cross-contaminating. Okay? I'm going to pause a little bit and let you get your stuff together, all right? So get your bags there. I'm going to also show you the orange roughy. Costco makes an amazing product here. Okay, Kirkland, you'll see a lot of Kirkland stuff, and because they do well. Okay, these are individually wrapped, all right? They're already clean. There's no skin on them. It's perfect, okay? And then, like I said, at the beginning of it, what you're gonna do is you're gonna put them in the water, and you're gonna let them thaw, all right? Now, let's begin, okay? So I'm gonna take my asparagus first. Now, here's another hack that I've learned. I take my asparagus. I simply do that. Where it snaps, okay? That's the measure that you want to take right there. So now I put this down onto my cutting board. Okay. Now I'm going to take another one. I'm going to show you. Come up. I take it like this. And where it snaps, that's how big you want your asparagus. Okay. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take all of my asparagus and line them up. All right. Up against the ones that I measured. Okay. Now I'm simply going to cut off the bottoms. Okay. I'll give you one more time here. Take my asparagus, snap, And that bottom part, that's the part that we don't want. And we're just going to dish that. So that's my measure. And I cut. Okay, now, when I cut right there, did you see my hand? That's not how you're supposed to cut. You need to keep your hands and your fingers in case you make a mistake. For example, I could be talking and cut my thumb. I keep my hands and fingers in. I control my knife with my thumb here and my finger in. A lot of people like to have their finger out right here, and you'll cut your finger. So I keep my hands in, keep my fingers and knuckles protected, and I slice down, all right? So now I'm gonna take this, I'm gonna take my asparagus bag. From my asparagus bag, I'm gonna open that up, drop all my little asparagus in here. They're gonna be absolutely delicious, trust me on this one. Okay, all of our asparagus in here, one by one. I don't know, maybe I'm kind of too uniform on this, but I like to have them all facing the same way. It's just easier to do for me, okay? And it's funny how they all fit in the bag, even though we snapped them right where, you know, they were clean. I guess the explanation on that is when they are getting bad, the bottom part will naturally break off, and the top part is where all the nutrition is in anyway. So, got my olive oil, okay? Now, usually I use about a half a teaspoon, all right? But a half a teaspoon, and I've measured it out. All I'm gonna do is I'm gonna drizzle across, 1, 2, and back, okay? Now, then I'm gonna get to my mixture. You will see me use this over and over again, okay? The trifecta, basically. I'm gonna use Himalayan sea salt, and I love Himalayan sea salt because of the vitamins and mineral content that it has. I'm gonna use about 3 circular motions. 1, 2, 3, okay? Put my cap back on. Black cracked pepper. And I like it hot, so I'm gonna use about 4 or 5 of these. 2, 3, 4, 5. And again, Old Bay, which has got a little bit of celery seed. Let's see, it's got a little bit of celery seed, and it's got some paprika in it. It's got a little bit of salt, and that's what we're gonna eliminate. And that's one of the things that I'm gonna work on, is developing this on my own and use my own Old Bay, because again, I'm trying to limit my salt. And I give it about 4 shakes of Old Bay. All right, close my bag. And now let me give you a little bit of time to catch up for those of you who are cooking on your own also. Okay. Costco, huh?
The question in the chat box, does Costco sell that asparagus?
Yes, you know, actually Costco does sell the asparagus. You buy it in a big lump bag, and it's amazing. For the big bag, what you would need, I would use one of the gallon-sized bags, because I've had one of those bags. We entertained people, and I used one of these, and it fit perfect. And you're going to double your salt and pepper and Old Bay, and then you're going to double your olive oil. So yes, they do. Okay. Now I'm going to get back to my bag here, and I'm going to rub these around here to make sure everything gets nice and seasoned. A lot of people like to do these on a tray. I just think the bag is so much easier, and you don't make quite the mess as you usually would do, okay? So we're going here. All right. Now, I like to clean up a little bit, so I'm going to move my stems to the bottom of the sink here, okay? And there we go. So next, we are going to move to the air fryer really quick. As we move to the air fryer, the thing that we're going to do is I'm going to drop them in, and then I'm going to come back to my board, and I'm going to start to prepare my sweet potatoes. But I'm only going to go half, so watch this, people. All right, here we go. Go to my air fryer, open up, and we'll just stack here real quick. Okay. Now, let me show you what I'm going to do here. I like to get them all kind of uniform. You want to move it around. You don't want to stack too many in here. This is right about my limit here. Okay, so I'm going to go in. Now, the next question is going to be, what's the temperature, of course, okay? I'm going to go at 370. And on this one, I push it one more time so that it will tell me how much time 15 minutes. I'm going to come down to 7. All right. Okay, now we're going to go to our sweet potatoes. Now, as we go to the sweet potatoes, I have already scrubbed them a little. Okay, you really want to make sure that you scrub your sweet potatoes well. I buy pretty much only organic fruit because of the pesticides, but you can't depend on the growers to not put pesticides on there. So for things like sweet potatoes, you really need to scrub them well. I have a vegetable scrubber brush that I scrub. And, you know, for this, what I've done is I've already pre-scrubbed them a little bit. But what I'll do is I'm going to move to the sink real quick, and I'm going to wash these off again. As I wash them off, I also use apple cider vinegar to wash them off also. Okay, so we'll move over to the sink real quick and wash these off. Okay, and there we go. And we'll bring those back over to the board. Now, here's another hack that I learned, okay? When you're doing something like this and it's not flat on the board, this one's not bad because it's flat. All I'm gonna do is, again, with good knife skills, keeping my finger to, I'm gonna make a little slice. What that does is that makes it so that I can put my sweet potato down, okay? There we go, and that makes it so we can put our sweet potato down. Now, one more time, we'll go there, and we'll put it down right here. Now, I like the skin on it, my friends. Okay, what that does is that keeps it so that you can use your knife. When it's rolling around, it's very difficult to cut, and that's when accidents happen. Okay, so now I can put my sweet potato down. Okay, I'm gonna take my knife, I'm gonna cut off my ends. 1 and 2. All right, now I'm gonna come, as you see, I put my hand on the blade here because this is a pretty thick sweet potato. Okay, I'm gonna go 1. Kids, please don't do this, okay? This is a pretty thick sweet potato, so it makes, now I guess what I could do is I could turn it sideways and I could chop here, and then that way I can make my, chop my slices a little cleaner, okay? There and there. Now, let me show you. This is about the size that you want to make it. It's a little bit bigger than a French fry, but that's okay. All right, so I'm gonna go there. I'm gonna go there. And then I'm gonna cut those in half. So now, while I'm cutting here, does anybody have any questions? All right, and we are going to entertain, we got a couple questions in the chat box, I think, and I'm gonna, while my wonderful assistant is pulling this up to tell me what the questions are, I'm gonna continue to cut here.
Okay, so there was a question here asking about the difference between the white sweet potatoes and the yellow sweet potatoes and the purple sweet potatoes. What's the best one? What's the difference in cost?
Okay, while I'm cutting, the difference in cost, the purple sweet potatoes are probably going to be a little bit more expensive. However, because of the phytonutrients, I think they are much better. The vitamin content is a little higher. It goes as a rule of thumb, you know, when you're looking at vegetables, the darker the colors, the more vitamins and minerals they have and the better they are for you. My diet, the way that I choose to eat is for, to boost my immune system, anti-cancer, and to help me get younger and younger. I tell you, since I've learned how to eat, you know, I'm 57 years old. I plan to live to be at least 107. So that's the way that I choose to eat. So as you see here, I'll cut those again, and I hope that answered your question in the chat box. If not, shoot another one at us, all right? So there we go. I continue to, and again, I really like the skin on these. I think the skin is amazing. Now, as I'm doing this, also remember when you use your air fryer, whatever the time is on that, you want to go back to it about halfway through and shake it up. So I'm going to reach over here real quick and shake that, okay? And as you see, I shook that there. And we're at 3 minutes, so we're doing really well, okay? Cut that in half. Whoops, we lost one, but We'll pick that up.
At least it wasn't a finger.
Yeah, at least it wasn't a finger, exactly. So we're gonna cut this again. And there.
Can I put all the different sweet potatoes in the same bag?
Oh, definitely, definitely. The question was, can we put all the sweet potatoes in the same bag? I love to do that. I like to mix these with the yammies, the purple ones. And I was pretty upset that sometimes it's difficult to find the purple ones. And I was pretty upset that I couldn't find any. I think because of COVID and everything that it's probably more difficult, but I tell you what, when I do find someone who has those all the time, I'm going to get a bunch of them because I really love them. The flavor is just amazing. They're so sweet. And again, nutritious. Now, the difference in these and white potatoes is huge as far as the vitamins and the starch content also. These, you're going to have a little bit of carbohydrates, but you need carbohydrates just as well as you need good fat. And that's why it's not bad to have a little bit of olive oil. Okay. All right. So
now, is there a way that we can soften the sweet potatoes first and then cut them up?
No, you know what? Some people like to use the microwave. I try to really get away from using the microwave. The more studies that are done and how it radiates your food and it leaches the vitamins and minerals out of it. The best way to do it is just to cut it. I should have probably cut those a little bit smaller in smaller chunks and manage them that way. But yeah, so. And then also, you could really use a meat cleaver on something like this. So anyway, now, guess what? I'm seasoning these the exact same way that I did the asparagus. I'm going to use my olive oil, okay? And I'm going to go drizzle, 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 okay? And believe it or not, I've measured that out, okay? And it's exactly right, all right? I'm going to go with my Old Bay, and I'm going to do about 4 shakes, all right? My cracked black pepper. Now I'm going to do about 5 turns on this one, and then my salt. And we're going to go there. All right, 2, 3, and a half a turn.
If I wanted a different flavor, can I just add whatever seasonings I want in there?
If you want a different flavor, you really can.
Barbecue or something.
You could do, well, if you made your own barbecue sauce, that would be fine. What I like to do on these, and one of my secrets really, is I put cinnamon on it. Sometimes I put cinnamon on it before I put it in there, and other times I put cinnamon on it after I put it in there. So this time, we didn't use any cinnamon, but that's okay. All right? So as you see, I kind of want to massage them really, really good. And, oh my gosh, I wish you could smell these asparagus right now. They smell amazing. Okay, now we're going to switch on over because we're ready to put in some of these here.
Can I mix my sweet potatoes and my asparagus in the air fryer?
No, I would air fry only one with one. I would air fry the asparagus alone and the sweet potatoes. Okay, let me pull this. Okay. All right. Now that's what our bag looks like. It's all been massaged in. All right. And again, the other thing that I haven't said, and you'll see me do, I also season my food once I put it down. Okay, I use a little bit of salt, a little bit of Old Bay, and even sometimes I use this product called a mango habanero, which is a really hot, but you just need to use just a taste. All right, let's move on back over to the air fryer, and we will plate our asparagus real quick, and then we'll put these in, and we'll get started on our orange roughy. All right, here we go to the air fryer. Your orange roughy should be defrosting right now, okay? Again, put it in the water at the beginning when we first started. It should be done by now. If not, you don't need to put it in the microwave or anything. If you wanted to do it, actually, you can put it in the refrigerator the night before, and by the time we get started, we're ready to go. All right, let's get over here, and we're going to plate our asparagus. Let's go ahead and... Okay. All right. Now, before we eat, we're going to make them a little bit prettier than that, okay? But for right now, that's the way we go. Okay. And my cameramen are indulging in these wonderful asparagus.
Very good, y'all.
All right. So we've got our sweet potatoes down now. And let's take a look. As you see, that's about right there. We've got a rabbit asparagus in there, so we'll pull him out of there. And we're gonna put those in. And again, I'm gonna get my machine going. I'm at 370, 15 minutes. And we're gonna back it back down to about 10 or 11. 11 is fine on that, okay? Now, all right. So, do that one too. Now, here's my asparagus. Oh my gosh, that is so good. Oh, I love it. I love it. You know, that's the crazy part about eating good. You can eat good and nutritious, and it can be just as good as anything else. Me personally, you know, why I developed my cooking was I'm allergic to nuts and peanuts. I have this mad allergy, and it's horrible. So I don't trust anybody. I mean, I've had reactions to people that swore there was nothing in the food. Come to find out later on, there was something else in there, okay? All right, so now what we're gonna do is we're gonna change our cutting board. And we'll go down here, okay? We're gonna change our knife. All right, okay? Now I've got my other cutting board and my knife. All right, got my cooking station ready. So for this one, we're gonna use a spoon, and that's gonna be to crush up our product. Now, again, we talked about what we're gonna use for this, all right? We used our rice flour, okay? Our panko breadcrumbs, okay? And the sesame seeds, all right? So as you see, we'll go with the tempura batter and the rice flour and a little bit of salt and pepper. Now, again, listen to the way that I'm seasoning it. It's the same trifecta, okay? I'm gonna go with the salt. I'm gonna go with the Old Bay. And after that, I'm gonna go with my cracked black pepper, okay? Now, I've already measured those out. I've already put my rice flour in, and I'm putting my tempura batter in. And I need to move right over to here to grab my panko. And here's my panko. And I put that in. Now, first I'm gonna mix it. Okay? Now, after I mix it, I'm simply gonna crush the breadcrumbs and the sesame seeds. What that does is it brings out the aroma of the sesame seeds, okay? All right.
So wait, we're crushing the sesame seeds in there?
Yes, we are crushing the sesame seeds.
So they're whole sesame seeds.
Yes, and if you look at these are whole sesame seeds. These are toasted, okay? These right here, all right? Now, we are ready to rumble. So, again, these are the Costco fillets.
Can you go over the measurements again?
Yes. I used 1/8 of a cup of the rice flour, okay? I used 1/8 of a cup of the tempura, and about the same of the breadcrumbs, okay?
1/8 or 1/4?
1/8, because I'm only doing 3 fillets here.
I can tell you
Right.
it's a 1/4.
Right, I use half. Okay, so we're only using 3 fillets, so, you know, I mean, you can never have too much and you throw it away, but I try not to throw it away. Now I'm gonna reach over and I'm gonna shake up my fries real quick. All right. Oh, they already smell and look good. Okay, we're coming back now. Again, with my knife skills. For this one, I'm gonna use a little bit smaller knife to open, okay, to open this. But while I get prepared for this, I'm gonna give those who are cooking alongside of us a minute to catch up, all right? So.
Somebody in the chat box. Miss Denise, not true.
Well,
She said the nut allergy.
oh,
That I had something to do.
we had an unfortunate incident last week. with the nut allergy, with my nut allergy. But it was okay. I didn't have a bad reaction. I did consume, excuse me, I'm sweating a little bit. I guess that kind of got me going. But I did consume just a little bit of this cheese that had some nuts in it, but didn't have a bad reaction. So we're okay. You know, sometimes this kind of roll of dice. It wasn't a lot, and it was an accident. So hey, what can we say? You know. All right. Is everybody ready? Here we go. Okay, I'm gonna go back to my fish. And again, I prefer a smaller knife when I'm opening these because you have to have a little bit more control. Okay, I go back to my cutting board. Okay, and I'm simply gonna open alongside here. There. Okay, and as you see now, one of the things that I like to do is I like to dry my fillets off because you're going to find that, and then let me grab another piece of paper towel here. You're going to find that the wetter they are, they don't really stick well. The drier they are, the flour and the mixture sticks a little better, okay? All right.
Denise said, we're glad you're alive.
Somebody's glad I'm alive out there, and I hope my son is echoing that, and I think my grandson's on this one too. So I hope everybody's echoing that they're glad I'm alive, that the nuts didn't kill me. So I go back to my third bag here. Okay.
Costco.
And this is the Costco brand of Orange Roughy. And again, they're skinless, they're boneless. And, you know, I wasn't really a total fan of Orange Roughy before. But I tell you what, I did these and I'm hooked. I'm usually more of a salmon guy, but not anymore. All right, so I'm gonna simply lay another paper towel over the top, pat them dry, and grab one more, okay, and not the whole roll, okay? And there we go. All right, now, once I do this, I am definitely going to wash my hands because I'm contaminated from the fish right here. Everything that I'm using right here will move directly to the sink, and we'll clean that at the end of this, okay? Even this counter here, okay? And I've got Clorox wipes to, you know, like if it's in the middle and I need to plate something, then I'll wipe that down. You really want to make sure that you keep good hygiene when you're using fish, okay? All right, so I have my fish. I'm going to move it back to my cutting board, and now I'm going to wash my hands before I touch my utensils here. So as I tell my grandson, scrub, 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 we do the 20-second scrub. We make sure that we go in between our fingers and all the way around, and we go around. All right, and we're good. And a paper towel, thank you very much. Okay, now I'm going to season my fish, okay? I'm gonna start off with some cracked black pepper. Okay, and a little bit of salt, and after that, I'm gonna need that little baby right there. Okay. All right. Now, what I like to do is I go one at a time. I'm going to reach here to grab my Old Bay. Okay. And you also season your flour. Okay, as you see. There we go. There we go. And a little bit of. There we go. So, season my fillets on one side, and that's okay. There it is. There. Take my bag. Dump it in. Okay. There. There.
So we don't need eggs to coat them?
No. See, you know, I found that out by accident because I don't eat eggs anymore. I know, kind of crazy, but when I made my transformation, as I began to not eat certain things, I made the conscious decision not to eat eggs anymore. And no, you do not eat eggs for this. Now, take my bowl and I dump what's left. Okay, now I shake it up. All right, everything nice and coated there. Okay, I'm gonna reach over to my air fryer real quick and shake it up too. All right, that's beautiful. That looks good. Oh, I wish you guys could smell these sweet potato fries. I'll let you take a look at them when you're done in a couple seconds. They are absolutely amazing. Now, if you can see, as you can see in the bag, they're pretty well coated, and I didn't even have to use any egg. Now, sometimes in recipes that call for eggs, believe it or not, I'll use unsweetened applesauce. I make these oatmeal cookies with unsweetened applesauce and raisin instead of the eggs, and they are amazing. Sometimes I'll do that for breakfast, but I don't know, most of the time I'm kind of a shakes kind of guy.
Do we need oil for the fish?
Okay, for the fish, what we're going to use is cooking spray, okay? A lot of people will use oil. I try to use just a light, either olive oil based or coconut oil based cooking spray, and I should have included that in a couple seconds ago, okay? Now, we're gonna move on over to the air fryer real quick. Shake that, okay, we're good. And I'm gonna take this time to prep and let you guys catch up a little bit. And as I prep, there we go. You know, a lot of these recipes, like I said, as I was making my transformation, I did 3 water-only 5-day fasts. And most people say, oh my God, what the heck's wrong with you, right? It really wasn't that difficult. But as I was doing this, I actually watched cooking shows the entire time. And as I was watching these cooking shows on YouTube, I watched a lot of the vegan cooking shows. And I have to be very careful because they use a lot of meat and nut-based things. But you can kind of get around that by, you know, substituting different minerals and things like that in there. Sometimes you use mushrooms. I like mushrooms, but I don't like them as much as I used to. I used to like mushrooms on a steak and that kind of thing, but I don't eat steak anymore. So, you know, and I'm not mad at people who do. Hey, you know, do you. I have to do me. This is what works for me. So, all right, now we're going to move on back on over to the air fryer because our sweet potatoes are just about done. We're on 1 minute, and then we can get to our orange roughy. All right, here we go. Back to the air fryer. All right. Wow. Oh my gosh. Are you looking at this? Oh. Is that amazing or what? Oh, I wish you could smell these. All right, I'm gonna plate these real quick. Now, again, sometimes look at the color on those. Now, here we've got some white sweet potatoes with some regular ones in there, and you see with the skin on. Now, what I'm gonna do with these, one of the little secrets that I do, is I use just a little bit of cinnamon. And oh, do they taste delicious, okay? There we go. That's all the cinnamon we need. All right, now we move to our orange roughy, okay? We're gonna move back over in the name of hygiene and gonna put my air fryer bin down. Now, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take these out one by one and lay them into my air fryer, okay? As you can see there, that's a nice size one, okay? There, and there. And as you can see, they are coated and there's no egg on there, all right? And I think that has a lot to do with the sesame oil. Now, the next thing that I'm gonna do is I'm gonna spray these with cooking spray. Okay, let me reach over here real quick. Slight accident, dropped the cooking spray. All right, so I'm just gonna go.
Can you show us what cooking spray you're using?
This is coconut oil cooking spray, Signature, just your regular store-bought. So after I've sprayed these decent, 2 or 3 squirts, I'm gonna flip them real quick. Okay. There. And my final big one.
And what does the cooking spray do?
The cooking spray helps it to crisp up, is what it does. And one of the things I know when I first did these, I kind of panicked because as I did it and I looked in the air fryer, I was like, it wasn't done. I'm like, oh my God, what happened? It was because I didn't put quite enough cooking spray on. So if you open your air fryer and you look at it and it looks white and it's not dark enough, just drop it in for another minute on the air fryer and you'll be good. Okay. Now we're going to move back over to our air fryer and put those in. Okay, now for these, we're going to go 4 minutes each side. Okay, so we're going to put that there. And while we are let them sit for a little bit, let's talk. Anybody have anything in the chat room? Any questions for us today right now?
Well, Hugo said he had to leave, but he could smell the food through the camera.
Okay, one of my old wrestlers and football players, his name is Ugo Akabike, had to leave, but he said he could smell the delicious food from where he was, which is amazing. And you know, I'm sad Ugo had to leave because I got a great story about that young man. That is probably the hardest working young man I've ever worked with my entire life. He was probably 5'8" and not in very good shape. For 4 years, he worked harder than anybody else. Okay, actually started for the Servite High School football team. Wound up doing amazing things in college and just graduated from Oregon University. He's an artist. He's an amazing young man, and I'm just so happy and proud to see him. You know, that's the beauty of something like this because I have contact with a lot of kids that I've been blessed enough to coach because it is a blessing. I mean, being a coach in whatever sport you are, you know, you learn as much from them as they learn from you. And not just that, being around my sons around sports, I mean, you can't trade that for anything.
For the fish.
What's what?
Temperature?
Oh, for the fish, we go at 370. Okay. The only thing that was different temperature would have been our sweet potatoes where we went up to about 400 on those. Okay. But for the fish, you go at about 370. You're going to go for 4 minutes. Okay. And then make sure you get a spatula. Okay. For that. All right. And again, I'm going to wash my hands again since I've been touching stuff. So I'm going to reach over here. And again, I'm going to talk to my grandson and we're going to scrub, scrub, scrub. We go about 20 seconds. And I go back fingers, make sure I get my fingernails. And there we go. All right. Denisha, how are you doing?
Doing good over here.
Am I going too fast?
No.
Okay, good. Okay, perfect.
I'm just a few steps behind, but I'm able to keep up.
Okay. Denise, how are you doing?
All right. Okay. I'm good. Hey.
Hey.
Yeah.
Nice to see you.
You
All
too.
Right. Melinda, how are you? And Amir, how are you?
And I just want to give a shout out to HU. I see a couple of Howard University folks in the house.
We have a shout out to HU, Howard University. I didn't attend Howard, but I'm partial, so, you know. I attended Cal State Fullerton. It's an amazing school for me. Like I said, I was a Division I athlete. Got a great education, criminal justice degree. Absolutely amazing experience. So, all right. Regina, how are you?
I'm great. I'm really enjoying watching you cook. I didn't prepare soon enough, but I will be trying to duplicate this recipe and we'll send pictures to Krishna.
Okay, definitely. And it's recorded also, so we'll make sure that you get the link. All right, I'm going to step back on over to my air fryer real quick and check on these orange roughy.
Oh, Melinda said she couldn't get her mic on, but she's doing well.
Melinda, we got you. All right.
Also, you guys, y'all should upload it to YouTube and we can rewatch it as many times as we want.
Okay. Did you hear that? We're going to upload to YouTube. All right. Now, as you see how white these are right here? Okay, what I need to do right now is watch. I'm just going to spray them a little bit, and I'm going to give them 1 more minute. And then we're going to flip them, okay? I'm just going to spray just a little bit, and I'm going to give them 1 minute, and then I'm going to flip them. So I usually catch them like a minute before so that my air fryer doesn't go off. Okay, so I'm going to set this for 5. At 370, there we go. Let's take a look at our plate right now and tell you what it looks like so far. Does that look amazing or what? Okay? And again, half the fat, half the calories, and the big part is not the impurities. When you're eating out, you're eating grease that has been sitting in the bin all day long with all of those impurities. This is olive oil. This is from the earth. We need good fats. The other thing, as far as good fats, I love avocados. I eat at least 1 a day, if not 2 a day sometimes. But we need that good fat for our body, okay? All right, we're almost at a minute on these, and I'm going to flip these over, and then I'm going to do them 4 more minutes, okay? Here we go. Okay. That is a little hot. There. And there. Now, again, we're going to spray these. Air fryer. Okay. And we're going to go for about 5 minutes.
What is our alternative if we don't have an air fryer?
Okay, if you don't have an air fryer, use your oven. You're going to pay attention to the temperatures I'm using. You're going to bump it up. For Orange Roughy, I would do it on a sheet pan with parchment paper. I try not to use aluminum because they say the aluminum leaches into our food. Parchment paper, and you're going to use just a little bit of olive oil on the bottom. You're going to season them the exact same way, and then you're going to put them on there. And then and you can use cooking spray or olive oil. I guess I should have said that. Same thing with our asparagus, and the same thing with our sweet potato fries. Okay, preparation is the same. The only thing that you would do is you would use an aluminum pan or a baking pan with parchment paper. Okay, great question, great question. Okay, are there any more questions?
Says that looks delicious.
Oh, it is. If you can smell it right now.
Regina, I'm sitting here enjoying some of it. It is delicious.
Yes, it's amazing. You know, some people have the fringe benefits of having people who love to cook like this. And again, like I said, I love to cook because of the way that it's done for me. I've lost 180 pounds, and most of that has to do naturally. No surgeries, no medications, you know, all these. And I'm not dissing anybody, but I don't believe in shortcuts when it comes to that kind of thing because, you know, number one, when you lose that kind of weight, a lot of people, when they lose that, their skin does not shrink down and they don't look good. Another thing is, you know, your skin coloration, your nutrition. When you do it nutritionally, the way that God, you know, put these things on earth for us to use to heal our bodies. And that's one of the reasons why my mission now is going into chiropractic care, because I truly want to learn how to heal the body from the inside out. Again, my goal is to live to be at least 107. Who knows, maybe even 127, you know? And I can tell you, you know, about a year ago from now, I didn't think that that was possible. You know, when I think about it, it's kind of crazy, this journey, but it's just been amazing. It really has, okay? All right, we are at 3 minutes on the air fryer. Do we have any more questions?
Yes, about how many servings is that?
Okay, we've got 3 pieces of fish in there, okay? So I would say you're about two servings because you're gonna go with maybe 1.5 pieces of the fish, your asparagus, and then your sweet potato fries. As far as calorie content, I'm gonna roughly say you're probably about 500 at most. But see, calories are deceiving because you need calories to get through your day. You need the nutrition and everything else to get through your day. And you also need the fiber. And that's one thing we haven't talked about here. We're talking about asparagus, which is awesome fiber. We're talking about sweet potatoes, which is awesome fiber. I mean, you know, you can't go wrong with either one of those.
And it's not drenched in sauces and cream.
Yeah, and the other thing is there's no barbecue sauce, there's no creamy sauce, and all those things that they hide all kinds of horrible things for our body. One of the things that the food industry has done is they've used chemicals that make your body feel like it's not full. And that's one of the issues about eating out and eating all of these other things, because all of this stuff that they put in the food, the meat is injected, the chicken is injected, and everything else. And it tricks your body into feeling like it's not full. And even though your stomach feels full, your mind says, no, I need to eat. No, I need to eat. I need to eat. You're getting rid of all of those things, all the intangibles, and you're coming with good, clean food for the body. The other night, I had a huge salad. I mean, I'm a total fan. I get all of my greens. I'll take, 2-3 cups of spinach, sweet baby bell peppers, a little bit of onions. I love poke, all right? And put them all in and a little bit of organic salad dressing. And I try to get the one without the chemicals. And that's my dinner. That's amazing to me. All right.
There was a great question, but we'll wait till after.
All right, let me check my fish here. All right. Okay. Let's take a look at our orange roughy. Can you see that? Oh my gosh. All right, we're gonna put this on the plate now. Take a look at that. I wish you could smell it. Oh my gosh. All right, so there. There. And there. I had a little piece break off, but I'm sure it'll be taken care of. Okay.
That's a great question. Is there a substitute if I don't like asparagus? What's the substitute for asparagus?
Definitely. I love Brussels sprouts. If you don't like asparagus, do you like Brussels sprouts? If not, hey, you can use any vegetable that you want. I mean, you could come up with a green salad there. I like Brussels sprouts, kale, and asparagus for their vitamin and mineral content. So any of those three, and again, I eat to boost my immune system. I eat for anti-cancer causing, and I eat to help me nutritiously, keep the toxins out of my body. So if that answers your question. Okay. All right. There we go. That's our dish for today. We've got asparagus, sweet potato fries, and air-fried orange roughy. All right, let's go ahead and take a bite of our orange roughy. Okay, here we go. Oh. I was only one. I got to come back for another one. Look at that. It is amazing. Ooh, it's hot. For my personal taste, excuse me.
All right, there's a statement that they love Brussels sprouts, one of their favorites.
Okay, I've got a Brussels sprout recipe for you. And you know what? Actually, I was going to do it next week, but I'll give you the tip. You're going to take your Brussels sprouts, you're going to cut them in half. You're going to use the top part, okay? You're going to put them in the bag and do the same exact seasoning, okay? You guys are going to get tired of hearing me say the same seasoning over and over and over again, okay? But you're going to use Himalayan sea salt, you're going to use a cracked pepper, and you're going to use a little bit of Old Bay. And then you're going to put your oil in, okay? You're going to massage it around. After you do that, my trick, okay, and this is, again, a flavor preference, is I like this organic balsamic vinegar. Let me let you take a look at that. Okay. This is amazing. You put it on in the bag before you put it in the air fryer. Then you put your Brussels sprouts in the air fryer for 8 minutes. They come out just amazing. I didn't like Brussels sprouts before I did this. I ate them because of the nutritional balance. And once I did that, I was like, oh my God, those are delicious. So yeah, just the same thing, a little bit of oil, and then add that balsamic vinegar. And you can add any balsamic vinegar that you want to, or any, salad dressing basically. I've done them once with this Asian sesame salad dressing, and it was really good that also. I just think the important part is to make sure that you're not consuming as many chemicals as you can. And one thing that I haven't talked about is also your water content. People drink your water, especially now. We've got all the smoke in the air and everything, and that's toxins, okay? Drink your water, get all that stuff out of your body, all right? All right, so our meal is prepared. It's time to eat. Who's ready to eat? Here we go, all right? I'm gonna take just a little bite of my sweet potato fries. I tell you, the cinnamon just takes it to a whole nother level with the salt, okay? And again, this asparagus. Now, you can play with your times as far as how you cook them. Some people like them a little bit more crunchy. And if you like your asparagus a little crunchy, instead of 7 minutes, go 5.5. Oh, delicious. All right.
Who's coming over for dinner?
Yeah, who's coming for dinner? There we go. All right. I'd like to thank you very, very much. And, honestly, we can work that out. If you would like a dinner, if you would like a presentation, put it in the chat box and we'll work it out. Again, this is Coach Coates coming to you live and in living color. Cooking with Coach Coates. Thank you very much and have a wonderful day. Oh, also, if you made your meal, please send us pictures and we'll put it included in next week's presentation, okay? Next week's gonna be even better. Every week we get a little better. That's the goal. All right, thanks again. Have a wonderful day and goodbye.